Hello, I'm Jomika, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2. This is episode 11. Last time we attempted to go to Moho. What's the beeping for? Hopefully nothing. We did not make it. I think we left at the improper time, maybe a little bit late, and the burn wasn't perfect. So we were close, but not close enough. Today, I think we're just going to try to get to Duna. We will attempt to get to the monument, but yeah, landing in a specific spot isn't the easiest thing to do, especially when there's atmosphere and that kind of stuff. But we'll do our best. We'll build a rover and probably a satellite to do communicating and stuff. The rover will communicate to the satellite. Satellite will communicate back to Kerbin. I believe that's how it works. Hopefully that's how it works. That's how it works. We have nuclear propulsion, which is good. I don't think we're going to get anything else. Really, it's just these three here. And I don't think we really need any of that for this mission. So I'm going to go ahead and get to building, and I'll join you back when I have a rocket. We'll have to time warp to the correct spot, and then we can go ahead and attempt to go to Duna. Now that we have a rocket created, we need to time warp to a good window to get to Duna. So if we zoom out here, here's Kerbal, here is Kerbin, here is Duna up here. From this layout, we want Duna to be right about here, basically directly in front of us. And to make things a little bit easier, I installed a mod called Alarm Clock. It is one that they had in Kerbal Space Program 1. Somebody is porting it to, or recreating it to work with Kerbal Space Program 2. And what we want to do is create a new transfer window alarm clock from Kerbin to Duna. Confirm that. And this alarm clock is going to go off at year 1, day 229, and then those hours. So we're about 150 days or so away. Can we clear that out? I guess not. We'll just go to the Space Center. And while we're at it, let's add, we'll redo Moho. I believe those get transfer windows all the time because Moho is moving much faster than all the others. So yeah, Moho would be next. I'm gonna skip that. We want to go to Duna next. We will also want to go to Eve eventually. So that's year 2. And what is the next one? Drace? I guess we could start with that. It's the next one out from Duna. And that will be year 2, day 6. I'll leave that there for now. I think we're going to want to go Duna, then Eve. It really depends on the missions we get, because I'd like to go in the order of the missions. I think they're set up to be easiest to hardest. So I'd like to stay in that kind of progression. So what we can do now is I'm going to save just to make sure. Confirm. And then we can time warp 1,000,000 times. Why don't we go to the tracking station? We'll take a look. And the one thing I want to watch is this guy, who's orbiting kind of near Moho. Same plane, I guess. And he does come down, or she comes down towards Moho every once in a while. This really takes a long time. So we can watch, see if you guys get pretty close at all. And if you do, we can probably just pause it and try to send this ship over to Moho. Because that's kind of what we planned before. But it looks like we are going to get an encounter with Duna sooner, or at least the launch window. It was 2:27 or so. So we should be getting close. About there. Hopefully it doesn't go too far. That is why I saved. There we go. 2:29. And Kerbin to Duna. Thank you. We will pause. And we will go to the VAB. We will load up our new and improved launcher. It is a little bit unstable because of this gigantic thing up top. And yeah, when the fuel goes down, center of mass is way at the top here, and it causes issues and it wants to roll over. So I think we could just go for it and we'll launch and see. Step 1 is always to get to orbit and then circularize. One thing I always have to do, which I don't think there's any way to do it from the VAB, is I have to control from here on the top probe, so that gets my pointer pointing up. I think it has something to do with having the rover one. Maybe it controls from here to start. Yeah, it does. So we actually want to control from the top. I've tried to disable control from the rover, and it just doesn't want to cooperate. So yeah, it is what it is. And not a big deal, as long as we always remember to control from here between the stage separations and all that. That's part of the problem with going to Moho, is I was burning in the wrong direction. I was burning from the rover's point of view and not the probe's point of view, so it was burning sideways when it should have been burning forward. So yeah, we'll just get this guy into orbit. Hopefully it doesn't tip over. It has issues. I've done a little bit of testing just because getting to orbit is the hardest with this thing, that it wants to tip over around 10 to 15 kilometers in there. I've tried a bunch of different things, but this one seems a little bit, I won't speak too quickly, but a little bit more stable than a few of the previous iterations I had. And we're probably not going to make it to orbit, or we're not going to get circular with this stage. It does have the delta V for it, but just with how unstable it is, we got to take a steeper, go up more steepy, and yeah, it just doesn't have the delta V from here. So yeah, we're 80 here, and we're only at 30 kilometers. So if we take a look at the map, it is basically straight up and straight down. So around here, we'll create a maneuver node just to see. We have 1700 delta V left, and that's about 2000, but that's a little bit bigger than we need. So if we brought this down, maybe somewhere around here. So yeah, we will have to cut into the nuclear stage a little bit, but really not a huge issue. So let's just go ahead and point over sideways. We will get ready to jettison off this stage. You guys can see the rover and the probe in its full glory. And then we will do solar panels, just so we make sure we have power the whole time. I don't remember if the nuclear engine does solar or has like an alternator in it. But we'll go ahead and launch that off. All looks good. And then about 30 seconds to, oh yeah, we'll start burn now. It's a good thing we didn't hit those fairings. I don't think it has a hitbox at this point, but I don't know. I don't want to find out. All right, so extend those. Not sure how well those would extend while under those kind of G forces, but we're Kerbal Space Program, so it's okay. So we'll finish off this stage, and then we will get ready for the next stage. All right, so we'll stage here. That staging is good. This decoupler or fairing, one of these gets stuck. Nope. Can I decouple there and light that engine? There we go. Took a little bit longer than I wanted, but as long as we get into orbit, which we will, we'll be okay. And then from here, we can create a maneuver node to head towards Duna. I think I remember where we want to launch or burn from, but I say that and I don't remember. So we want to launch off that direction, so we want to burn about here. So somewhere around here, create a maneuver node, and we'll go in the fast direction. And I'll move this a little bit because we want it to head straight off. Something like that. I don't need a gravity assist from the moon. And then from here, oops. That's kind of what we want, this basic idea. And I think if we move this, if I can reach it, it's still, I mean, we could fine tune it a little bit better. So if we move it maybe right there. No, maybe not. Was it? somewhere like there. That's a little bit further out. And then, is that an encounter already? It looks like it. Leaving Duna, encountering Duna. Alright, so that is what we want. We'll focus on Duna, see where we're headed. 19,000 kilometers. We'll call it good enough. We can fine tune that a little bit later. So we will have a 15-minute burn. No, 2-minute burn. I don't know what I was thinking. We'll start it in 15 minutes about. It's 1,000 delta V, which will give us another 1,000 to slow down. I think we only need a couple hundred. So we'll just fast forward to the burn. We'll quick save. We are saved game now. And actually, yeah, let's slow down there. I also added a reaction control system. And we will go ahead and burn because we are about 30 seconds late. I don't think it'll be a huge issue, but we'll find out. Now that I remembered to check to see which way we're facing and everything, we should have a better idea. Luminous probes out of electric charge. That's okay. So let's focus on this area. Where are we? That one is us. Duna 10. There's no way I did 10 iterations of this thing. So we'll just keep an eye on where it's headed. So we got another minute 30. I don't think that updates from when we started the burn. So maybe another minute or so. Lack of stellar exposure. Some of those are going to start to get annoying once you have like a ton of ships. Just aim prograde. Could probably get rid of this, but it'll give us an idea of kind of where we want to be. So this is going to start to go pretty quick, and then we may want to slow down. We'll see. Any science? Nothing new. Experiment already done. Alright, let's zoom out. We're getting pretty close, so I could get rid of that. And then we'll wait for a little encounter. Should be right around there, yeah. We'll focus on Duna. And we'll see how close we can get. Right about there. Alright. I don't think it really matters where we come in. I guess coming in from the bottom is decent because we are going to want to line up with this guy up here. And if we came in on an equatorial plane, that's going to be difficult to get up top. So if we come from the bottom or the top and then circularize going like a polar orbit, we can hit all of the planet eventually. So that's good. Quick save here. I want to make sure I quick save a lot more than I have in the past because that causes issues when I don't and want to go back. So I guess from here we have 179 days or so to get to Duna. Actually, if we do it here, 251. So I think we'll get a second chance at Moho. Did I have an alarm clock set for Moho? I did not. And that's coming up in like 40 days. So I think we'll get another chance at Moho before we get to Duna. So I think I'm just gonna speed things up a little bit And maybe we'll do a little Moho action next episode, or we'll get to Duna. But I think that is going to do it for today's episode. Kind of a cliffhanger. Didn't quite make it to Duna. Well, that's Jewel, but... Oh, Duna's down here. But we did get everything built. We got the correct transfer window, and we're on a good course. We got plenty of Delta V, and we're in good shape to make it to Duna. The only issue is getting down on the correct spot of Duna, which I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, that is going to do it for today's episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope to see you all in the next episode.